literally whatever time you're watching this. I hope that you guys are having a great day. I'm back and I'm better. I missed you more than ever. I miss being in a setting that doesn't look like pixelated like this is before the 1920s. Like, I don't know. That was really bad. I don't know. You guys know how I feel about aesthetics. But I'm getting over my perfectionism. Like I said, we're back and we're better. We're in the house today. It's kind of rainy outside. So I wanted to, just give like inside vibes today. So last time we were here, we were talking about the Mercury retrograde, the Saturn retrograde, right? Um, when to speak the truth versus when to hold the truth. When is the best time to do either one of those things, right? Weighing the cost of risk of both and seeing which one is going to be most beneficial and most effective for you on the path that you are currently leading, right? Not for the ego, for temporary satisfaction, but for the overall long-term stability of what you are building, right? So that's what we were talking about last time. So today is a little bit connected, actually a lot of bit connected. So just diving a little bit deeper into these Saturn lessons, right? So I have a couple downloads for you guys. We're going along with the theme of, right, you are the magic, not necessarily the tools. So again, I have no tools, no tarot, no oracle today, okay? Just straight downloads. Um whose name is Dave? What's up, Dave? This is your message. But anyways, the okay, channel. Focus. All right, so dealing with things at the point of onset. Okay, so Spirit wanted us to first of all talk about how sometimes we feel like, doing certain things like a meditation or doing certain things like going and getting a Reiki healing or going to the sauna or even, like going to the gym. A lot of times when we do healing activities is because we are looking for a quick fix, or it's because we are looking for like a band-aid to whatever we are dealing with at the time. What's up, chat? What's up, Fatma? What's up, guys, all in the chat? um so a lot of times when we choose to hop into our spiritual toolbox, it's because we are usually actively dealing with something, actively working with something, actively transmuting, actively alchemizing something, right? Or actively trying to bring something to us, bring something into us. That's usually when we decide to hop into our spiritual bags. But Spirit is saying, don't delay, don't delay. Send me in right away. Okay, call your spirit team right away, basically, is what they're saying. They don't want you to wait until you feel overwhelmed. They don't want you to wait until your heart feels cracked open. They don't want you to wait until you feel like you understand why you feel like you need to cry. Just literally at the point of onset, they want you to reach into your spiritual toolbox and see what in there feels like the most good. Is it a meditation? Is it a meditation where you're laying down and you have your hands on yourself, if you're a Reiki practitioner, giving yourself Reiki? Or is it all right, cool. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, let's go ahead and talk about dealing with things at the point of onset and not getting overwhelmed, right? Because literally the chat, I don't know if this is bots or whatever is going on, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it out because a lot of times I just tend to make a face or whatever, get a little flustered, and then move on. But this is literally what I'm talking about, though. Like, literally acknowledging something at the point of onset instead of brushing it under the rug. Because once you acknowledge it at the point of onset, it's no longer a ghost, right? So once it's no longer a ghost, there's no longer like a certain type of fear reaction or like a fear trigger that you get towards that thing, because now it's in the light and it's low-key under your control because you called it out with your truth and with your mouth, right? I think I just addressed the bot. But that's neither here nor there. Spirit is saying they want you to call on them to ask for help when you find yourself in these moments. Literally, at the very moment that you wake up and you say, I don't know why the hell I feel like this. I had a great day yesterday. I had a decent amount of sleep. I woke up, I ate breakfast, and now that I'm on my way to da da da, I feel like I'm about to have an anxiety attack. That's not something that you should just say, okay, calm down. In those moments, that's usually what we do. We try to band aid it, we try to sweep it under the rug. We might do a little breathing exercise. That's when we reach into our bags. Okay, what can I see? I see three birds. I see two trees. And we start doing our things. But Spirit is saying, even before you get to the point where you feel completely overwhelmed, that's when you need to start doing the things, okay? Don't let it pile up until you feel overwhelmed. Oh, and then this is the second part of the message. The second part of the message is things right, especially right now, are definitely not personal. That's not to say that the things that people are saying are not necessarily personal. Like, of course, sometimes, but the actual energy behind these situations, the spirit behind these, like, energies, the spirit behind these situations is not necessarily like a personal thing. People don't have, it's not like all of these separate people have all of these different, like, personal, just burning issues with you. That's not what it is. People are dealing with a culmination of their own traumas, triggers, their own little whirlpool that they feel stuck in, just and they can't swim. So then when they see you and your lazy river, is like, how dare you? Don't they see? Like, don't they see? Like, and you just come floating in the lazy river with your margarita or your virgin tahini, and they just feel like, how dare you? So it's I didn't button my necklace up. Don't ignore that. So it's really just projection at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's people literally not knowing what to do with their own emotional energy, their grief, right? Their shame. They might feel rejected because you might have walked away from something that they feel like, it might have been their plan, their organization, just something. You're not fitting into their boxes. And because you're not fitting into their boxes, and at the same time, they're like this, in their whirlpool, right? It's going to make them upset, but don't take it personal. And when I say don't take it personal, what I mean by that is you don't have to break it down and analyze it to the grit, the bone, and the bone marrow. Because there's no point of doing that. Because when you get to the root of it, all you're gonna see is somebody's hurt, somebody's pain, somebody's grief, somebody's shame. And if we're being honest, these are things that we all feel. So that's why after you've done a certain amount of personal work, you can look at people in those moments, or maybe not in that exact moment, but you can look at the energy that they gave behind those moments, and you can say, oh, I know this. I know this. That is grief right there. That is codependency screaming out for validation right there. I know this. This is rejection. This is fear of rejection right here. I know this. I know this. This is fear of losing power. I know this. When you know yourself enough, when you study yourself enough, when you are able to call certain things out in yourself enough, right? When you do that enough, you'll be able to look at what other people are doing, and it might feel personal at first, but when you really break it down, after so many times you'll see a pattern. It's almost never personal. It's all exactly. It's literally Saturn retrograde. Literally. That's all it is. And this is the perfect time for us to be dealing with issues like this, right? Especially when the power dynamics are kind of iffy, you know? It's the perfect time for us to be dealing with this. Dealing with things like this, right? And especially when the power dynamics are not even, it's easier to take things personal. But at the end of the day, it's almost like the person can't help it. They're speaking from their wounding. They're not speaking from their whole self. They're not speaking from their higher self. They're not speaking from their true emotional body. They're speaking from their wounded emotional body. So, you know, emotions are temporary. I think there's only so far that you should, like, you know, receive those things and accept those things into your reality, if you even so choose to do it. Any advice for Cancer ascendants? Mm, not necessarily. I think this reading is definitely for all of the signs. Let me sit on that, the Cancer ascendants, for a minute. Cause what's coming to me specifically is for Cancer ascendants. You guys might be specifically dealing with um like sacral chakra, like womb energy, no matter what the gender is. So that is really dealing, healing and dealing with your own emotional body. So almost literally exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to see the projections that other people project onto us because we know our own emotional body. So actually, this is probably a really good time for a Cancer to tap into sacral energy, especially because Cancer is dominated by the moon, and a lot of people will align Cancer with feminine energy, but Cancer can be extremely masculine. Cancer can be very active, very active in what they choose to nurture and what they choose to just, like, the wisdom that they choose to involve themselves in. It's been 180 days. My ex relation. So the best thing for you to do, 180 days. Okay, first of all, I don't want to tell you to stop counting, but maybe just because you started with the fact that it's been 180 days specifically, what I think you need to first ask yourself, for you personally outside of the relationship, what is the benefit for you to count these days in grief? You know, what benefit is it doing for you to count these days in grief? And then I would challenge you to, you said you miss her. What are the things that you necessarily miss? Because a lot of times the things that we like and the things that we miss about people, it was really us 9 times out of 10. So I would challenge you to hold up that mirror and see what did you miss in her. But if you hold up the mirror, it was really your energy, you know? Yeah. I understand. I understand. Do some sacral chakra work. Let me know if you have any other questions, but I don't know, just think it she'll come back one day and tell that it's not nonsense. It makes sense. A lot of times, like, we do things because of the hurt. So actually, we were talking about something similar a few days ago. We were talking about how, you know, we can intellectualize a situation and intellectualize our grief to the grit, the bone, and the marrow, but until you actually decide to take that grief and command it into the light, right? And then command more of your loving presence to come down. I think you need to sit with the mirror, though. I think you need to sit with the mirror, because a lot of times when we feel so strongly about somebody, it's something that, it's usually a gap that we feel like we have within ourselves that they are feeling. So where's the gap? Where is the hole? You don't need to necessarily put that in the comments. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time for sure. It for sure takes time. I would say if you feel so called to do so, book a personal reading. Um, I'll leave my Calendly in the description below. It's in our last video. I'll leave it in this video as well. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It usually takes everybody a process, and everybody's process takes a different amount of time. So I don't think that you're doing anything wrong at all. But I'm challenging you to hold up the mirror, find the gap. What are the things that you say you miss the most? Where does that energy lie in yourself, right? Where's the gaps that you feel like there might have been some things missing in your life or in your own energy that you felt like they made up for? That's usually how relationships work. So I'm challenging you to find those, and then ask yourself. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it necessarily with your mind. I would say go into a meditation and ask your spirit, what does it need to fill those gaps. Anyhow, yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. But then I would challenge you, if you feel like somebody is replacing you in under 2 months. I would challenge you to notice the moments beforehand where they showed you that you were not worthy to them, because that couldn't have been the first time. And that's not to say that it was necessarily easy to point that out, right? But that's definitely saying there were some signs. And that's not to say like you should have caught them and you da 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 da, right? Because we go through our, like I said, we go through our processes and everything for a reason. It's for you to be able to understand something, so that you understand patterns in the forthcoming future. Also, I do apologize if you're really young. Like, I think I blocked it off for kids on here, but but sometimes kids do pop into the live. So I don't know how old you are. For me personally, it took me until I was 24 to start recognizing these type of patterns. And honestly, I didn't start really understanding how to integrate this type of work until after I was 25, after my frontal lobe developed. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And maybe spirit, yeah, maybe spirit was pushing to show you, honestly. And a lot of times, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Actually, I'm glad that you brought up the fact that you get to focus on your career, because a lot of times spirit does not let you have the thing that you're asking for. That's young, baby. What you talk about? 17 is young. It's okay. But a lot of times spirit does not let you get to your biggest blessing when there are people around that are going to help you to squander that shit. Spirit will never give you your $1 million goal when you're around a bunch of bums. And that's not to say you're around a bunch of bums, and that's not even to call like the other person like a bum. But I'm just saying, when there are people in your circle and too close in proximity to you that spirit understands cannot handle the blessings that are coming into you and the things that you're actively asking for, it gets put on hold. So honestly, now that you spill more of the beans, I'm feeling like this was a blessing in disguise. And then also, can I just say, if this person showed you that you weren't valuable in just 2 months, that's not a lot of time. If they showed you that you weren't valuable to them in only 2 months, and they made you feel like this, but it got you back focused on your career, it got you back focused on you, don't that make you a legendary alchemist? Okay, okay, okay. That's what I thought. It makes you a legendary alchemist because you took something that was meant to destroy you, or you took something that is probably making you make anybody feel small. Literally, it would make Beyonce feel small. She made a whole Lemonade album. Like, we're not gonna. It makes anybody feel small. These are normal human feelings. But the fact that you were able to take that and say, okay, let me focus on me. So it sounds like a little bit the gap might be you feel like you're missing some kind of like achievement or level of success in life, which in your vision you want it to come through your business, right? That's the big vision. And honestly, I don't know what your business is, but because spirit had to put it on hold because you had somebody in your life that obviously did not see your value. If they don't see the value in you, do you think that they're going to see the value in anything that you're building? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's never worth it to keep people like that around. It sounds like spirit did a good job. You need to go say a prayer of gratefulness. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but go take yourself out into nature and just start saying, I'm grateful that spirit aligns me with the things that are in my best interest to build the best life. Because it sounds like you got a prayer answered. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I want to be grateful, but I don't. But anytime I think about her, I just cuss. That's normal. Let's cuss. Cuss. That's normal. Let it go. Let it out. Go to the park. Let it go. Join a class. When I broke up with my abusive ex for the final time, I joined a kickboxing class. Only went to one class because the class kicked my ass. And then I left out the class and went in the bathroom and threw up for like 20 minutes because it was so intense. But let yourself live. Now is the time to, and you're 17. Oh my God, be free. You have so much life to live. So much life to live. So much life to live. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. I'm sorry, I know that's not your vibes, but I feel like you need that energy right now because all of that other stuff, we don't need people in our life that make us feel small, right? They add to the feeling overwhelmed, right? We deal with things like this at point of onset, right? So next time, after dealing with that person, next time, as soon as you start hearing very similar things, you don't have to cut them off at the point of onset, but definitely call it out and question it. Hey, what do you mean by that? I am the queen. I am the queen now of what did you mean by that? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't have to wish well for her. Yeah, no, you don't have to wish well for her. You don't have to but be grateful for your own experience and your own growth because it sounds like from that situation you grew, right? And I'm only saying that because you could have took it in a different way. You could have said, well, the relationship is over. Like, I just have nothing. You could have spiraled in a completely different way. But instead you said, I should just focus on my business. That's alchemy. So you don't have to necessarily be grateful for the mirrors yet. That comes over time. A lot of times I'm not really grateful for the stuff that I was being put through until months, a year. It takes time. That's normal. That's normal. That's normal. That's normal. Let yourself go through your process. But as soon as you start feeling like feelings of you being taken out of your body because of resentment, because of shame, I never should have, I should have seen this, all of those things commanded into the light. I don't receive that. Right? Remember, every thought that comes into your head isn't you. Every thought that comes into your head isn't your thought. Sometimes it's things that you heard like through life that maybe your spirit might have resonated with it, maybe you might have found a little bit of truth in it, but every thought isn't you. Some thoughts are grandma, some thoughts is my uncle Mike, some thoughts are auntie Carolyn, some thoughts are my second grade teacher. Like, every thought isn't you. Some thoughts are the preacher from when I was 5. Every thought isn't you. So delegate where things go, right? Understand that your voice does matter. And your voice is speaking up. Your voice is asking for autonomy. All right, that's what I heard. And the fact that you said that you were about to pick up your business. I remember I used to cry a lot. My mom asked me what's up, and I just pretend to be all right. That's understandable. I would challenge you to, if you don't necessarily like pray to like God, the universe, you don't even have to necessarily use words, because when I first exited out of religion, I used to just go outside like in my car, and I used to yell, literally yell, cry, and scream at the moon, because I was tired of yelling and crying and screaming to people. Because, you know, after so many years and so many scenes, people don't know what to say. Like, you start looking a little crazy, which is not, like, necessarily a bad thing, because it's being human in front of other humans. But, you know, that can be very taboo. But for a lot of people, their spiritual wisdom starts to activate in nature. So I challenge you to take those fits outside if you have a car. If you don't have a car, find a corner, like a tree, a corner, like a lake. What are those things? Like, I live in Michigan, so we have like trails, right? So you'll be walking on a random city, and there'll be like a bridge, and it'll be like a little nature trail. So it doesn't have to be anything like super fancy. But during that phase, I started cussing God. But on a new track for a while now, everything really does happen for a reason. I had beef with Jesus. Like, I've told this channel so many times, like, I didn't necessarily denounce like God, because I was a little bit scared, but I was not saying God. I was not calling it God. I was saying universe. And before I was saying I think before I was saying universe, I wasn't saying nothing. Um or higher power or something. And I really had beef with Jesus, because I'm like, Jesus, yo, people is crazy, and they doing it in your name. What's up? Like, what? Like, what's up? Like what's up? So I understand. We here with it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's okay. It's okay. Book a personal reading. Me too. That's okay. Listen, we're all in the field. We are a family, like a giant tree. Reaching up to, listen, I understand. I understand. And also, even regardless of you, if you were like religious and you find your way into this channel, that's cool too, because I know that whoever lands on this channel, you guys are meant to be here. You guys are all on a legendary path. So I appreciate the comments and the back and forth today. Toxic server. Why you got that as your name? Why is your name Toxic Server? Okay, can I tell you, I almost didn't start answering these comments just because your name was Toxic Server, but I'm taking the mirror. We here, we are a family, like a giant tree. So, all right, but I'm about to log out, guys. I'm in my workout gear because I have my second aerial class today. She was a fairy. Yup, yup. I'm about to be like a professional aerialist, hopefully. I'm only on day 2 and I'm talking like that. I have big dreams though. I'm super excited. Of course, no problem. No problem. Toxic server. Whoa, where you at? It's 2 a.m. Are you out of the country? I'm in the US. Yes, get some sleep and catch you tomorrow. No problem. Subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to like the video. No, I'm just kidding. But really, like the video. It sounds like it resonated for you, and for everybody else, also remember to like the video if it resonated for you. India, oh my God. I hope it's, oh my God. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what's crazy? That's completely different. It's completely different. I was about to say something else. Do you guys is Reiki prevalent in India? I'm just curious. I know it started in Japan. You'd be like, India's No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I swear. We're kind of like cousins. I'm just wondering, is Reiki popular in India? Is that something that you guys like, But yeah, so I'm about to go do my area list class. Like I said, like the video, guys. If it resonated with you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because you will be back. Reiki is Reiki. It's like a natural energy healing modality. It focuses on all of the main organ systems in the body, basically the meridians to help the body heal itself. It was formed in Japan by a guy named Mikhail Usui. I know you like, girl, I said India. But he studied in the Himalayas, which I believe is in India. I'm not the best with geography. Um, but I was just curious because I know that Mikhail practiced a little bit of Buddhism, a little bit of Hinduism, and I believe those are associated with India. I'm showing my ignorance a little bit, but that's okay because we learn, right? We got yoga, kundalini, various types of astrology. Okay, yeah, for sure. Go to sleep. Have a good night. Have a good night. It was great talking to you, Toxic Server. Yeah, I'm familiar with those. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm glad that we're international. Shout out to chat. Shout out to all of the legends. You guys are super super legendary. Yeah, if you would like a personal reading, go ahead and drop down into the description. I'll go ahead and leave the Calendly link. I promised you guys that I would get the Calendly together, and I finally got the Calendly together, so you guys can actually go and book personal sessions with me through the link. You guys don't have to do like the DM thing anymore. It's a little ghetto, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Good night. See you later, Toxic Server. Have a good night. And for everybody else, have a good night, a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. And cut the post notifications on. Cut the post notifications on. Cut the. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna see y'all later. Y'all know how I get. I just start yapping. Okay. See y'all later. Have a good day. Peace. Stay legendary.